At this point, Fromsoftware is very well known for making fantastic and standout great bosses all over the series. They have made a lot of incredible ones in Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, and also Armored Core 6. However, some bosses are maybe a bit too ambitious, or they don't live up to the potential they actually would have, in my opinion. And today I want to talk about some examples of those. Hey, welcome to this video where I want to discuss some bosses with some missed potential. This is a part 2 of a series I started a while ago, so I'm going to link part 1 in the description or in an info card somewhere, and you can check it out after this video if you're interested in more examples. Today I'm going to discuss a few examples and just talk about what I would wish for them to be a bit better or more engaging. If you enjoy this kind of content, please be sure to like and subscribe, and also don't forget to hit the bell for notifications to not miss any content in the future. Every support means a lot to me and I would really appreciate it. Also trying to hit 500 subscribers until the end of the year, so I would really appreciate if you help me up there. With all that out of the way though, let's get into the video. Ah yes, Dark Souls 2, the black sheep of the Fromsoftware Souls game series. Definitely a good game in my opinion, however definitely also my least favorite because I have quite a few issues with it. However, one thing that is definitely not an issue for me is the very cool and creative experimental nature of the game. This game has a lot of very cool ideas like bonfire aesthetics and at least the attempt to change something in New Game Plus. However, what I really love are also some boss fights, and this is also the only reason why I picked the Executioner's Chariot, because truthfully, I really love this boss. I think it's absolutely garbage, awful, and I really fucking hate to fight this boss. However, I think the concept is really awesome. So what went wrong and what could be better? First off, Dark Souls 2 does something the worst in the series, and it's the boss runbacks. The areas are probably the thing I dislike the most in Dark Souls 2, and the runbacks just force you to replay more of them. And this runback towards Executioner's Chariot is just terrible. You have to face like 5 of these hollows with like the dark whips and staffs. It's very annoying, and dying here is just insanely frustrating. You also can't really just run by because there's a red phantom guarding the folk door, and you don't get iframes while entering them at the start in this game. However, once you enter the boss, it doesn't get really much better, because this is not really Executioner's Chariot. It's more like fighting a horde of skeletons, and then there is the chariot. Because after you pull the lever and destroy the chariot, where the real fight begins and you fight the horse, it's just a very simple, easy boss enemy. Like the average fodder enemy in Elden Ring has more moves than this boss. However, that's not the problem. The problem is that you just get swarmed by hordes of skeletons. I don't really understand this fight properly, because even after I kill like the 3 necromancers that are there, the skeletons don't really die. And it just feels like this game couldn't make a hard boss out of it with this very cool and unique gimmick, so they just resorted to spamming base enemies, which is very annoying. What I would change personally is like add traps, being forced to roll through the chariot, and add traps there you have to dodge, overcome, position yourself correctly, stuff like that, and then you reach the lever and then you fight the real boss. But I don't know, not a fan of the big skeleton spamming. It's just really annoying in my opinion. The design is really awesome. I love the design of the chariot, and as I said, the arena is absolutely unique. I love it. However, that's about it. Very cool concept, cool idea, not exactly great execution. Well yeah, the One Reborn. Definitely not a beloved boss, to say the least. Most people seem to really dislike this boss, and honestly I kind of understand it. First off, I think it's a very cool reference to the Tower Knight fight from Demon's Souls, however not even close as good. And also, I think this fight isn't as terrible as most say. Personally, I remember this fight being pretty garbage and atrocious, but refighting it was actually pretty fun. You have to be aware when he's spitting the corpses, and you just have to be careful. The explosions on his limbs when you hit them are important so that you just can't hack away, and overall it's a solid boss fight, just pretty boring. I would put it in D tier usually. However, what really puts this boss up for me is everything else. The presentation and build up is absolutely amazing. Throughout Yahar Ghul you fight disfigured scary enemies with limbs seemingly attached everywhere, and all of them build up this nasty monstrosity very nicely. Besides that, the One Reborn's design is super unique even for Bloodborne standards. It's not Victorian horror like some kind of werewolf, and it's not Eldritch horror or some alien great one either. This is very clearly human made. The humans made this while conducting an experiment and it going horribly wrong. The cutscene is impressive and I just love this design, it's so special. Also, Bloodborne soundtrack is my favorite favorite video game soundtrack of all time, and the One Reborn soundtrack is absolutely terrific. It is absolutely fantastic. It's incredible. So why is this boss not as great as he should be? Why is he not as good as Tower Knight? The thing is, he has some very annoying attacks. The corpse rain spamming can get a bit annoying if he decides to do it for way too long. And what is also really annoying about this boss fight is the spitting attacks. The short spits where he just does a small puddle are alright, but the arena-wide spit is absolutely annoying and boring area denial. Also, the runback for this boss is just atrocious. It's definitely on par with some Dark Souls 2 runbacks. It's very annoying. Well, maybe not that bad. However, I don't know. I just don't hate this boss. I think it's decent overall, but he could have been just so much better like the Tower Knight shows. There is only really one issue with Lady Butterfly for me, which unfortunately puts her from a potentially amazing tier early game boss to only a B tier or a good tier 1. And that is the clone summons in phase 2. Because this boss has everything it needs. Phase 2 shows you all the important moves and combos, which will be used in phase 2 later, and phase 2 expands on this moveset beautifully. The butterfly projectiles she shoots out in phase 2 before a combo or after it, and you being actually forced to sidestep them is one of the best mechanics in this game, and I wish more bosses did unique things like this. Unfortunately, this is not the mechanic most people remember Lady Butterfly for. Most people remember her for her annoying summoning, which is just insanely boring. In my footage run here, she did it 4 times. It's just so bad. It's very easy to get rid of the summons with a snap seed, and that's fine. However, unfortunately, when you encounter this boss, you only get 1 snap seed, and that can get rid of the summons like once. So it's not really helpful for the point when you encounter it. If I could change something about this fight, I would remove this illusion enemy spam and would give her like some Malenia or even corrupted monk shadow clones you have to like deflect or dodge. That would make her an absolutely amazing boss, and I would love this boss to death because honestly, the setting, the vibe of this fight, everything is on point. Just this one mechanic is so bad in my opinion, and I really don't enjoy it. It really puts the whole fight down quite a bit for me. But yeah, Lady Butterfly is a good boss already, but she could be so much better. What's really unfortunate about the Fire Giant fight is that Fromsoftware actually got pretty close to creating a genuinely great giant boss, because the ones before aren't exactly great. However, I don't know, something just isn't great. I will not talk too much about phase 1 because I think it's a very solid phase. It's a solid intro to the fight, and I especially like how you can use torrent in this fight to close the gaps in this quite huge arena. That's very awesome. I like horse combat in Elden Ring. However, where this fight starts to crumble is phase 2. Phase 2 is in concept a great fight. However, I think it focuses way too much on him rolling away and spamming annoying and very boring fire projectiles, instead of actually the cool part, fighting off this giant and trying to knock him down. My personal idea to improve this fight would be to actually focus on getting him down and doing a massive riposte like for Medir to take a lot of his health. Basically, imagine you give this boss a lot of posture and he actually allows you to hit his arms more frequently, and then you knock him down and I don't know, do like half of his health in phase 2 with like 1 riposte, because the riposte damage you actually get in this fight is pitiful. It feels like it should do way more damage if you step in his eye where he channels the Fell God's power. I think it should do more damage than this. However, the damage is just not that great. And the problem is, actually dodging his attacks is really fun and the fight is cinematic and awesome. Every Elden Ring Remembrance boss has an awesome presentation. However, it's definitely the weakest one, and I think there is a lot of missed potential in this fight. With all that said, however, I still think this fight is decent, and even phase 2, when it really works and he doesn't just roll away like a raccoon all the time, can be really enjoyable to fight. So I don't hate Fire Giant, he's alright. Last but definitely not least is the Roundtable Knight Vyke. People in my comments have wished for this boss to appear, and the saddest thing is, I actually agree he should be in part 1, but I genuinely just forgot this boss. That's how irrelevant he is in Elden Ring. Even though he is an insanely important lore significance, and well, there is this other fun fact about him, he is the poster child of this game. He is literally on the Elden Ring poster. This is some Soul of Cinder stuff, like a very good boss. So what role does Vyke, this apparently very important figure, play in Elden Ring? What is Vyke doing? Well, he is an NPC invader, but it's fine. It's just building up towards the epic encounter. I don't know, maybe if you do the Lord of Frenzy Flame ending as a finale, maybe he's the secret final boss or something, right? He's tied to the Frenzied Flame. It's really cool, right? Well, if you guessed that you will fight an insanely epic fight against someone who uses the Frenzied Flame, you would be wrong. Roundtable Knight Vyke is only an NPC boss in an Everjail in the mountaintops of the Giants. That's everything they gave to this boss. Honestly, if you look up missed potential in Google search, there should be pictures of Vyke appearing. That's how much of a waste this character and boss is. Admittedly, this is one of the NPC fights I enjoy a bit more than the rest. His moves are kinda fun to dodge, and he can even use some special dragon's glaives, being of course tied with the dragons. It's pretty cool, but like still, this is just very disappointing. I wish this guy was just an insanely important boss because he is so cool, his design is amazing, he has one of the coolest looking armors ever, and he's tied to a part of the lore that I find very intriguing. But I don't know, it's just nothing. It's just a big shame. It's just sad. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it a lot. If you disagree with some picks or think you have something cool to add, please be sure to comment it down below. I always love discussions about these bosses. Everyone likes different things about bosses, so it's always very interesting to see different perspectives. Besides that, as I already mentioned, if you like this content, please be sure to support this video, it would mean a lot to me. Also, if you enjoyed this video specifically, so maybe check out part 1 if you missed it, because I think those bosses also deserve a spotlight. And yeah, that's about it. Once again, thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye!